Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kevin, that's Robin, and Robin, we got an interesting lineup this week. So how about this? I'm going to open the Chardonnay because I really want to try it because it's been forever since I've had this wine. So I'm going to get on that. If you want to talk about those ones, I'll talk about these after.
Sounds fair.
Deal?
So this week we did a little showdown. We've got some brand new wines into the shop coming from South Africa, which is a region that we really don't talk about very often in the shop.
Absolutely.
Definitely not enough. So we've got a couple of wines from Hartenberg, and what we did here is we created a little pack because I always find the best way to really learn about a grape and learn about wines is to taste them side by side from different regions and really see how the expression can be a little bit altered in the winemaking style from where they come from.
Nice.
So we've got the two from Hartenberg. We've got both their Cab and Shiraz blend and their Chardonnay because it is winter, but sometimes I still want some white wine and I want that little wintry white.
Yeah, and this is definitely, again, it's been a while since I've had this, but I remember when I first tried this wine, I was really impressed for the level of complexity with this. This is really like full-bore Chardonnay. And what I mean by that is not over-the-top oaky, but this is like a really rich, textural, ripe, delicious, complex kind of style of Chardonnay.
Totally.
And I think the one thing I love about Chardonnay is when it comes from different places, like in this case Stellenbosch, it really, really speaks to where it comes from. Chardonnay's great that way. You know, if you grow it in France, you grow it in California, you grow it in Australia, or you grow it in South Africa, you're always going to get something about that terroir that speaks to the grape variety, and the value piece is always really interesting, right? Because we have these places that we know, like Sonoma, we know the wines are great, they're pretty expensive. Burgundy, we know they're some of the best in the world, but again, they're quite expensive. So we're always looking for what's another area that can mimic those, like more famous regions, but do it for $24.95 instead of $124.95, right?
Totally. And I mean, everywhere across the board, we keep hearing about climate change and how it's really affecting winemaking practice and styles. And these guys, they've been around since the 1600s, but they're actually doing a ton of work right now, rebuilding conservation. They've put like a little wetland in their property to try and keep things organic, really alter just like the method of how they're doing things in the vineyard. This is super great because it's got that little mineral finish to it, right?
I was just going to say, there's a little flintiness, right? When you finish this wine, it's like, it comes back with that little bit of like stripe of like finesse and kind of flinty mineral character. So
it's unexpected from a region that is really thought to be and known to be pretty warm, right? Like you don't often get that kind of balance and freshness.
It's true, and you never know what you're getting in South Africa, right? And maybe it's our fault a little bit. We don't do a lot of research there. It's definitely not an area we have a huge selection of. We're probably better known for France or Italy or California or even Spain, but we do love these wines. And when we get stuff in like this, it always reminds me that we need to pay more attention, first of all, to these areas because there is some pretty terrific value out there. And I'm really impressed by this
Chardonnay. That's a $25 bottle of wine, and it is fantastic. It drinks like everything that I want in a bottle of Chardonnay.
Jumping in, I'm already done.
Okay.
So that's a good sign.
Pick up the pace.
All right, get in there. And I remember the first time I tried that, just thinking, wow. I can't remember tasting Chardonnay for $25 that had this much going on. So
totally.
I think if you're a Chardonnay fan or a white wine fan or just want to try something a little different, this is going to be a really fun. I like the idea of your pack. This is something you haven't really done before, right?
Yeah, we haven't done this in a while. And I mean, you are going to notice differences if you decide to go for these two. Like this is coming from Lake County, so we are a little bit farther north in California. It's not quite as hot as your Napa Valley and Sonoma Valley vineyard sites, but you're still going to get like a little bit more of that richness, and it's going to have a little bit more oak, a little bit more of that like toasty vanilla finish to it,
right?
Which is great for my little winter white too, like I was saying.
So what's the idea? We having a few friends over, doing a little wine tasting, a little comparison, or
friends just for you. Who really cares?
All right, whatever goes, right? I like the idea. A small group of people. You can go maybe do a little blind tasting, right?
There you go.
Have some friends over, see if they can tell the difference.
It is a fun way to do it, to be honest. If
absolutely.
You do happen to pour them, mix it up. Don't really know which one is which, and just see if you can tell the difference.
I'm enjoying this, the Rad too. $23.95 for this one. So kind of a typical blend that you see out of maybe the Southern Hemisphere, certainly Australia or South Africa. They do a lot of Shiraz Cab blends. I like the blend. You get the spiciness from the Shiraz. This is not an over-the-top example for sure. I was surprised by how kind of more elegant and almost old world like this is, right? I think this is more leans towards the Bordeaux style than like a big fat California style.
These guys actually really are known in some of their top tier wines, and as you move up the ladder, they are taking more of a play on those Bordeaux blends and trying to make their wines in that style. Again, like a little more refinement, a little more freshness, a little more balance to them than being like overly ripe and heavy.
Well, it's showing up. Good wines. Speaking of Bordeaux blends, here comes the segue. So we also just received our, biannual, I guess, allocation of Barron's family. Barron's is always interesting because I never quite know what they're going to release. Never really know what's coming. The vintages, everything's always a bit of a mystery. They kind of wait till the last minute and then decide what we're going to get. So I'm really, really excited to pull some corks this weekend. I'm sure some ears are perking up out there because I haven't really announced that. We did a little teaser on social media, but we haven't really announced this yet that these are here. Some of the highlights this year, we got a brand new one from Blender Boy, which we haven't seen in many years now, and this is a cab-based
I opened up
one.
last week. I couldn't wait.
It is. I don't like to pick favorites, right? They're all your children, but that really stood out for me. Maybe because I missed it so much because we haven't seen one in a long time. But a cab-based Blender Boy this time around that is an absolute knockout. We were lucky to be able to go. We snuck in a little bit of travel time in October, right? When everything seemed like it might be okay for a while. We managed to get down here, and this was definitely a highlight visit for us. Got to spend some time with Les, the winemaker. We got to taste through everything, sort of all these wines, and then what's coming down the pipe.
It was incredible. I love listening to him talk. He actually made me tear up a little bit listening to him. He's so passionate and honest and genuine in what he does, and just watching that and how he talks about his wines just so honestly, it was really, really amazing.
Yeah, Les is one of the real good guys, right? He came from a really, humble background as a restaurateur who loved wine. He started to just access small plots. They're not a big, rich, fancy Napa winery, right? But they do access some of the best vineyards in Napa. He, for my money, is one of the best winemakers in Napa. And the price points for these wines, while they're not inexpensive, we're sort of starting around $69 and going up from there. But when we start to look at the price from top Napa Valley cabs, for me, these are really hard to beat. And they're really exciting wines. They're fun wines. The
bottles are beautiful. The artwork all has stories. He loves art. He collects art. He goes around and finds them and makes wines to match them. It's a cool story.
Everything good, everything we're all about, and we're gonna probably get excited starting Thursday, I think, tomorrow.
I was gonna say, what time is this video open?
Yeah, soon.
Let's do it.
How about as soon as someone gives us an excuse to start pulling corks, we'll be opening some wine. So if you're a fan of these wines, please come down, see us this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And if you've not had them before and you're curious, we'd love to tell you the story and why we love these so much, and open some wine up for you to try. So pop by and see us. Thank you very much.